Hello and welcome to another Jujutsu Kaisen video. Just a warning, we'll be talking about chapter 261, so spoiler warning. I'll give you some time to even go out and read it. All done? Good. Sweet. Let's get a dive into this quick little theory about how Gojo can come back in his own way. So in 261, we find out that Yuta ate Kenjaku's body in order to use his curse technique, which allowed him to switch bodies with Gojo. We know that Yuta is on a 5-minute timer to use Gojo's body, so what do we think will happen in this time frame? Let's look at when Kenjaku started to seal Gojo in Shibuya. When Gojo called out to Geto, his body reacted and started to choke out Kenjaku. And this is where I believe that the body and the soul are truly one. I just want to be clear that I don't believe Gojo is going to have a full revival, even though it's something I really would love. I do believe there is a similarity to Geto's reaction with Kenjaku. So let's paint a picture here. Yuta is using everything he can to stop Sukuna and is reaching his time limit. Yuta starts to apologize to Gojo internally, saying that he had failed him and didn't achieve as much as he needed to with his body, just for the word to reach Gojo and awaken him just for a bit to use the remaining time that he has left and put a real impact on this fight. Also, maybe allowing him to have a proper send-off for his students. I'm not really sure what will happen to Yuta, but he could be fine. Gojo may be able to bring him back just in time for him to be placed back in a fully healed body. It is very unclear what will happen in the next 5 minutes, and when these 5 minutes are actually over. I think in this situation we can only expect the absolute worst. I would like to think that this is not the end of the fight as well. I don't believe Yuta is going to finish off the fight in Gojo's body. I think it's too much or weird to have Gojo somehow finish the fight for them. It is absolutely insane what I am reading in these chapters weekly, and I'm still being surprised by every single outcome that follows. Something that I truly want if Gojo does come back, even if it's just for a short time, is to answer the question that we've all been wanting to know. Are you the strongest because you are Gojo Satoru, or are you Gojo Satoru because you are the strongest? So another theory I have that Gojo will come back to answer this question in front of his student. So let's paint another beautiful picture. Yuta is being pushed back in Gojo's body, and Sukuna proclaimed, even with the body of the strongest Satoru Gojo, you are still no match for me. It is in this moment that Yuta lets Gojo take control of his body and quickly says the line, nah, it's just Gojo Satoru. This will be the time for Gojo to answer the question, who is he? He is Gojo Satoru, a sensei to his student. This will be the perfect send-off, and it would really match Shibuya, which I feel like this arc is really mirroring in that way. This is a send-off similar to Nanami's goodbye to Yuji, someone who's on the verge of death but can only think of his students. He could easily have passed on but still has a job to do. I do think that after everything has happened in this chapter, it is easy to look that Geto and Gojo's story are coming to a close and is wrapping up within the next few chapters. To conclude my spiraling thoughts, I believe that Gojo will have one last moment which will allow him to help the other fulfill what Gojo always wanted them to do. This will allow him to get that rebirth that we were hinted at right after his death, and also change everyone's thoughts on Gojo being more than a weapon or a monster. He is their sensei and he is human. So this also conflicts with the ideals of Sukuna, who believes that throwing away your humanity is the only way to get stronger. Gojo will remind his students that it is the humanity that makes them strong. In my very own bias, I do think this is the best way for Gojo to come back into a fight without being a crutch that everyone can lean on. Gojo is the strongest sorcerer we have ever seen, and if you believe he was not holding back against Sukuna, you are lying to yourself. At the end of the day, he should be seen as Gojo. Nothing more, nothing less. I do want to have a quick discussion on how people are reacting to this chapter, saying that they didn't like it or it feels weird for Yuta to be using Gojo. And to be fair, I agree with this feeling. It just feels kind of weird, gross, and inhumane. They addressed this, and I think this is a safe point that they are treading down the path of giving up their humanity in order to win this fight. But I do think this is where Gojo is needed, to remind them that they can beat Sukuna without going down this path. I think it is perfectly okay for them to have a crazy shock reaction to this and to have strong opinions on not liking it. I think it is good for the audience to be thinking and trying to understand everything that is happening. I do think the way that Gege writes it feels like it's a huge event that happened following with an explanation. All we can do now is have fun with these theories and wait until the next chapter. Hey, thank you for making it to the end of the video. I would love to hear your opinions down in the comment below. Also, if you have any theories on what's going on or what could happen, please put them down below. I would love to read what you guys are all cooking up. Thank you very much for making to the end once more. I have been your bestest bro, and I'll see you when I see you.